Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, da doo-dah day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Last Man Standing. I'm sorry, I still have Stupid O'Clock running on my iPad, and it looks like Joe Dog has pulled out every Rickroll video that he possibly can before he hits the end of show button. You've been warned. Word to the wise, I hope is sufficient. Go ahead and watch it anyway, but kind of be careful about the end of it. We got Joe Bachman with us, and we got Rich with us tonight. We might have Dawn later. Aunt Donna has gone to bed, so she will not be gracing us with her lovely company tonight. But and it's still going. He has not hit the button yet. This is like watching paint dry, I tell you.
I'm almost afraid to actually go back to that stream. Nope, it ended.
Okay, good. Usually the YouTube on the iPad is a little bit delayed from the computer, so once I get, well, I'll give it a like. Forgot to do that before I was in there anyway earlier tonight. Now, okay. Heavenly day. Didn't we have fun last night?
Oh, a little bit until the nerve block wore off. Yes, and then I had to go lay down.
I don't blame you a bit.
Nothing like doing a show from the side of I-94.
Hey, you had your own special effects and light show going on. So.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Welcome to Joe Bachman's Roadside Dance Club.
Facebook just reminded me that I should be ready to start the show. Usually they wait till like Sunday before they tell me it's time to start Thursday night show. These things, they happen. Now, according to the notice I got in the middle of Stupid O'Clock, our little Wednesday night show is now live on my YouTube. And it has been, I hope, if I hit the right buttons, it's already been included in the playlist for Last Man Standing. So, even if Joe Dog deletes all the Last Man Standing episodes that have been co-broadcast to my YouTube,
You'll always have
then
parents.
yes, we'll always have that one because I had to dig it out of the Wayback Machine and make my own copy to upload. So he ain't got the rights to touch that one.
Oh.
Oh.
If I was a smart man, I'd just go to bed and try and take a nap tomorrow afternoon, but I know I won't be able to sleep tomorrow afternoon, so
I usually don't have any problem sleeping in the afternoon. After I get home from work, I will just put on a video I really want to watch, and next thing I know, I wake up 30-40 minutes later. And here is dawn. So we are not totally unchaperoned for the evening.
You think I'm a chaperone, y'all are screwed. Yeah.
Misty and Crow, Crow is definitely going to the family women's retreat. Misty is trying to figure out whether she's going to feel good enough to go to the women's retreat, which means Richie might be solo. Which means Richie will be able to do a lot of reading, a lot of writing, and a lot of sleeping. In whatever order I want. Yay!
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, yes. Sorry, my shoulder surprises me when I can actually get it further than I was paying attention before.
Hey,
I get it. I get it.
that's a good surprise.
Yes, that is a very good surprise. My half-assed physical therapy is paying off. Although I really should be working on shoulder physical therapy instead of half my ass. But
I should be working on my lower back right now. But,
not the green room.
oh, that reminds me.
Oh dear. I'm looking forward to this weekend.
As you can see, I'm no longer just a floating head.
I see this. You have that was kind of freaky when you first noticed it.
Oh, John did that one night, and he just, once he noticed it, he just ran with it.
I was say he had like the Wizard of Oz wizard's background.
He was pulling every floating head joke out that he could.
Not the green room.
Joe got Nick good one night.
Oh Lord!
With his behind the code stuff, you were just far enough back, and it was just right where, it was just
like, yes. that. Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have been backstage to see that, just to see Nick freak out. I love Nick, but that would have been fun.
Well, especially since I got in there before he did, and I added myself into the stream, so I was taking up the entire screen. But I'm thinking about using this background and making my openings for Behind the Code and the Burning is Love, and just do a sound of the MGM lion roar. And just fade myself in.
Wait, grow your
No.
beard out before you do that to give you the lion's mane.
No. What you do is you get the recording of the Cowardly Lion from Wizard of Oz and put that sound in, and then you fade yourself up.
Or I can get an audio of Georgette when she does her little meows because she's got the cutest little meows.
I've thought about doing that too.
Or strip the piece out from
Mary Tyler Moore.
South Park, Big Gay Al and his Big Gay Animal Sanctuary. We even have a big gay lion. Roar.
I was getting warm, but I figured if I took my fleece off sitting here, you guys would make your whatevers.
Would we do something like that?
Yeah,
this
that.
is not the green room.
Yes, you still would.
No, but we do it subtly.
Yes.
There's nothing subtle about it.
Look, a distraction. Oh, wrong kind of subtle.
Oh.
So how are you doing, Rich?
I can't complain. I'm on the right side of the green.
Okay. Well, I saw your post, and I know you said people are gonna blah 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 blah, and I've been there, so I thought I'm just gonna ask. Deal with it.
We all have to deal with our trials. It's all right. I don't mean to get Christian here, but I am one. I'm a minister, so I believe God forges us to be the tool or weapon that is needed for His purpose. For something to be forged, it has to pass through fire, and it has to have the shit pounded out of it. If we don't go through these rough patches, if we don't go through stuff like that, are we truly going to be the weapon in the arsenal that we're meant to be? Whether
The
that
true
is
hero is
meant to
doing
be
his journey.
a good person to sit there and listen to folks and help folks, and just be able to lend that ear because you've been there and shit, they need someone to talk to, and just listen. Okay,
I'm actually.
It was the fan blowing the tag on the side of the door. I'm like, who's coming to my office? But we all go through stuff. You have to hit rock bottom sometimes so that you can see what it's like down there, so you know what needs to be done to help lift others up. And one of my biggest things has always been, and it follows very well in line with the rising tide, which is why I love the idea behind the rising tide so much, is build others up, reach a hand down to bring someone up instead of tear someone else down to bring them down to your level.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Very true. Very true.
And I'm agnostic. So I mean that it is what it is. But the movie Oh God Book 2, the one with George Burns in it,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, how can you can't have the good without the bad, because you don't appreciate the good if you don't know how bad it can be. And that's something I heard as a child. And that is something that has stuck with me, is that you don't realize how good the good is until you find out what the bad is. You don't appreciate the good. I
might get teary here for a moment, and if I do, I apologize.
You're okay.
Because it is going to be talking about one of the greatest women I ever knew. So my maternal grandmother, complete smartass, looks like a sweet, unfortunately she's passed many years now, but looked like a sweet, innocent old woman, but could curse a streak to make an Irish sailor blush. She taught me how to swear in German. She would always go toe-to-toe with my dad. You would think they were siblings, not mother-in-law, son-in-law, and technically cousins. My mom's mom passed away, so my mom's dad married my dad's mom's sister. So I'm my own cousin 3 or 4 times removed by marriage. Yes, we listen to I'm My Own Grandpa a lot in my family. Literally, we do. We like it.
There was this accident with a time machine and a contraceptive.
Hey, you zombies. But anyways, so but they would go at it like siblings, just ragging on each other. And my grandmother taught me two great lessons. The second most important lesson in my life that I was ever taught was taught by her, which follows that same line. You can't have the good without the bad. You can't have good times without bad times. It's just time. The good times will come back at some point in time, and the good times will always feel sweeter the darker your bad times were, because in comparison, they're much better. And then again, when they come back, it's like, yes, oh my God, we're back in the promised place. And of course, the most important thing that she ever taught me was the best gift you can give another person is a smile or a laugh. Never the wrong color, never the wrong size, never the wrong style. No matter how big that laugh is or that smile is, you brighten somebody's day at least for a brief moment. So I actually became addicted to making people laugh. I actually get a high off of making people laugh. And when I was younger and my body would accept it, which is one of the reasons my body's in the shape it is now, I would actually do the stupid shit and allow myself to get hurt to elicit another person's laugh. Because, face it, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even early 2000s, one of the easiest ways to get a laugh was fatty fall down. That's why Chris Farley and John Candy were such great actors. And Curly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Actually, all the Stooges, but, since we're in the fatty fall down piece, Curly's the one that fits that bill the best. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, those are our guiding principles in my life. Make everyone that you can smile or laugh. In fact, actually, Asplin's Law #1. It's been modified. Originally in college, it was beautiful women must smile at all times, with the corollary of rule #2, all women are beautiful when they smile. But of course, it's been changed in later years because I don't want my wife to kill me thinking I'm trying to flirt, that all beautiful people need to smile all the time. Rule #2 is all people are beautiful when they smile. And then somewhere in there is also Asplin's Law #326, Smurfs taste like chicken. There's not 326 laws. It's just, I had like 30 of them planned out, and then I'm like, in 326 is Smurfs taste like chicken. One, just for the shock of going from like 30 to 326, and then the other, Smurfs taste like chicken.
There is a picture of me where it was one of the runs with the hash, and somebody got a hold of the color run powder, and I have blue smeared, like, I can't remember, blue smeared here and green smeared here. And it was like, Timmy goes, it looks like you were doing naughty things to a Smurf, and Oscar the Grouch, I think, was the two that they had went up with. So when you said that, how would I not go there?
I've been smurfed by a toner cartridge before.
I got, what do they call that other cartridge that comes out of the big printers? It's not the toner. Maybe it is the toner.
Yeah, it's the toner.
Well, depending
Okay.
on the type. I mean, you've got wax jet, which would be wax. You've got the
You get the
typical
wax
toner.
on you, that's going to hurt like hell.
Yes.
This is, I don't think it's the toner. It's not the toner. It's not the toner. It's that other,
Is it like a dry powder?
the drum. Does that sound right?
No, the drum puts the ink to the page.
The drum is what gets a static charge to charge the paper so that the iron and the ink will be attracted to the paper. But there is ink for ink jets, toner for laser, and a couple of others. Sometimes toners now.
Well, needless to say, there was black and it wasn't the toner, because I know what a toner is, not that big, but It was black everywhere in the shelter one day. We had to keep the cats out of the office.
Yeah.
If it was a large enough machine, it would have had a waste toner
Yes,
cartridge.
that's it.
Because we had those in our big copiers at Staples.
Yeah, the big. Yeah.
It was the waste toner. Because, yeah, I've pulled one of those out of a machine before and had it try to get me.
Well, let's just say that a cat helped with it. And that cat, as soon as he ran, he didn't get any black all over him. But me and the volunteer, yeah, well.
Oh,
That was
I had somebody at work tell me to pull the ink cartridge out of one of the printers in order to keep from having to replace said ink cartridge, to shake it vigorously. They had to repaint the room.
It's fine as long as the cartridge doesn't have a crack or a bad seal.
Mm-hmm.
This one had something, I don't know what.
Probably a bad seal or a crack.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I've been there too.
It had definitely stopped printing effectively months before, and had been pulled out and shaken up and put back in several times. And I thought, this is a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation. I think they can buy another ink cartridge, and they're going to have to buy a bucket of paint.
I will be right back, folks.
right. That is right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was the world's smallest violin saying it feels sorry for them.
No, I was saying, major multi-billion, international multi-billion-dollar company.
Pinching the pennies, yes, indeed. The biggest mistake they ever made was letting the accountants run the company.
Very
now, I have, going back to the earlier point, I have had somebody remark that because I am a very gentle and understanding person, that at some point in my life I must have gone through hell. I go, yeah, but I don't like to talk about that too much. So,
welcome back.
Into every life a little rain must fall.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything about the damn fire and brimstone.
Yeah, today I managed to catch the last half of Nick's Never Mind the Furthermore yesterday. Because I had to leave so that a masked man could, stab me in the back. But I really like the way he talked about the allergy. Because that's 100% dead on, no pun intended. Why I got into that line of thought, I have no freaking clue.
Because you're a writer and your brain goes in 100 different directions at once, and none of them under control. And somewhere there's a tab open with Devo music playing, and you're trying to turn that one off, but you can't figure it's hidden.
Actually, I do realize why. Because again, it's the going through fire thing, and being forged for specific purposes and stuff like that. So, unfortunately, I too have. Oh wow! I wrote that on the back because I'm apparently getting colorblind. Anyways, sorry.
Squirrel.
But, yeah. I've been thrust into that same line of work that Nick claims he's retired from, but we don't get to retire from that line of work.
This is true.
Retired from. Okay, I'm not following that exact line of thought.
Certain individuals end up as fixers for various things in life.
Yes.
You go to certain people when certain things just break. There are fixers that you go to for mechanical needs. Fixers you go to for making people stop doing certain things. That's not the type of fixing I used to do. Fixing when things that are beyond the normal ken of man happen. There's fixers for that kind of thing too. Nick and I used to get stuck into, never together, just independently, got stuck in that line of work for a lot of things. Technically, it's not a line of work. That calling, we'll call it. No pun intended.
And in the same vein, I had several people at work this week, and the week's not over yet, ask me, how do I make this computer do this?
Yeah, I'm
And-
definitely
45.
that kind of fixer as well.
Fortunately, it was a simple enough thing that I actually knew the answer because I knew what program they were using, and I play with that just as a normal course of events. And then again, there was somebody else that came up with going, I wish I could get this thing to do this. And I go, well, have you tried going click, click, click? How did you do that? Years of wasting my time learning how this bugger works.
Bugger.
I had to train the other trainers on how to do certain things. Son of a bitch.
Did you forget to tell a trainer to do something?
No, I forgot to send out a. I guess I'll do it tomorrow. Whoops. So we do certain testing on a regular basis, and I have to. Screw it. I don't think anyone from the firm is watching this. We do phishing testing on a regular basis. Our phishing test is due to come out soon. Before our phishing test comes out, I create a document to show the help desk what the test is going to look like, so that when it does come out, that they're able to go, oh hey, this call coming in is this. Yes, that was the test. You passed. Have a nice day.
Now, do you guys ever test the help desk separate?
They should.
That's the same as saying they don't, but they should. But I wish they would.
Well, here's the thing. My manager would always be like, "Oh, there's going to be a phishing test next week." I'm like, "You're not supposed to tell us." Granted, I normally look at these and go, "I think this is the test," and go and take a screenshot, send it to the help desk, say, "Hey, is this a test?" Now I don't have to do that anymore because I'm the one sending them out. So I'm like, I know this is the test. But and I've only ever failed once. But anyways, so yeah, it's we really should test differently than the way we do, but they choose not to. And it infuriates me. It was just okay. So 2015 is when we were finally able to put in a real password policy. Our password policy pre-December 2014 was it had to be 8 characters.
Mickey,
Yep.
Minnie, Donald.
No, we had 3 attorneys that their password was 11111111. We had one attorney who, and their secretary, his password was 77777777. We had one attorney who was really cool. His password was Han Solo 11. All right. You tell the help desk your password in order for them to be able to remote on and fix your computer and do what needs to be done. You're not supposed to have a really memorable password. And the password policy before that did not require us to change passwords, ever.
Yeah.
I started supporting the firm in 2002. If I wanted from 2002 to 2014, I could have had, actually into early 2015, I could have had the same password. I didn't. I changed mine on a regular basis because
Yeah.
It's what you do when you're in IT. But that made me twitch so hard. It wasn't even funny. But now we tried to institute a password policy. The partners at the time pushed back, saying, "No, I don't want to have to do that." Well,
That means I have to do more work.
Well, they didn't want to have to try to remember it and things of that nature. So, but the thing is, these are also partners that passed the bar before my birth.
So we're lucky they even know how to turn a computer on.
We're lucky
They don't. Their secretaries do, though.
we're lucky that they allowed as much change as we were able to institute in the firm. Because for folks of that generation, change is hard. You know what? I'm getting to that point myself. There's a lot of things that
like I'm getting there.
There's a lot of things that I'm like, okay, I'm fine with, and then there's things that the millennials and things like that do, and it just makes me kind of twitch for a moment, and I'm like, don't be that guy. Yeah, you, proud Gen Xer. Proud Gen Xer.
Yep, I'm having to make allowance for people that may or may not step into my shoes when I leave. And I have already startled about 5 different people for going, "Oh, I don't know what the password is to unprotect this so I can add more rows to the bottom of this spreadsheet." And I go, "Let me see. Oh, it's that spreadsheet. Okay." I put the password in for them. I'm not supposed to know that password. The reason I know that password is I was on the mailing list when the guy that made it up retired. Everybody but me that has been using this password to protect and unprotect different Excel spreadsheets that this fellow that retired made up is going, "That's an official company password created by the IT department. You're not supposed to know that." And I go, "No, it's not. It was made by the guy who was here doing this job
You've been
in
told an
this
old wives'
factory."
tale.
You assumed it was an official company IT department password that contains a drop of blood, an elvish character, and 17 different alphabets from around the world. And actually, it's a Bible verse.
It's a character from the alphabet from Life on Korra.
I could probably read that. You're
I still think
talking.
that's one of the coolest things. I'm sorry.
You're talking to a guy that made up like 5 alien languages for my stories. So
I know, but that's just so cool that my name is in a freaking comic book forever.
Lucky Jackson. Your password must have Lucky Jackson. Oh, Elvish, not Elvis. Never mind.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Viva Las Vegas.
So the
Yeah,
password
try and
policy,
find the special character for a lightning bolt in Excel. Let me tell you, or Word for that matter.
Alternate.
It
Hell,
can be done.
hmm
You have to go to Sanskrit, but
or Wingdings.
oh man, there are some of these things in there. I swear, I don't see how corporate has let this. I don't see how Microsoft's corporate has let this slide. There are some alphabets they've got in there that are come with the programs, and I'm going, that's a pair of boobs. That character is a pair. That character is a bigger pair of boobs.
And that's a manhood.
No, no, they don't have that. They don't have that. They've got they've also got what looks like shall we say a respectable lady's posterior for another character, and I'm going, what alphabet? It's
One of
Arabic.
the major programmers at Microsoft for many of the older versions of Windows from 3.1, I think up through um, hell. I don't remember the last version that he worked on. Dave Plummer. Um, very, very interesting man. Has a very interesting YouTube channel. Is all the spectrum. Um, so the weird stuff they let him get away with is, and this was before they figured out he was on the spectrum, is just astounding, and just the way that
Mm-hmm.
it explains a lot on why a lot of Microsoft applications are the way they are. Um, because someone who does not think the way a neurotypical does is the one designing this, so their brain's just going, ding, 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 ding. Okay, all this makes sense, and bundle it all in.
Mm-hmm. And it does make sense to them because they have all the reference points.
And to the computer as well, apparently.
Yeah, really, because basically, all the computer is doing is reading the code for the key itself on the keyboard. So technically, if I had the font installed for um, the two Elvish languages from Tolkien on my computer, I could sit there, and if I knew how to spell a word in Elvish, that could be my password, and it's basically just key presses. One of the neatest things I ever saw was something that was listed as a help for creating difficult passwords, and basically it was a leet speak generator.
nice.
So your password could be your name fed through the leet speak generator, and all you're really doing is telling the computer the position of these keys on the keyboard, and that's it.
A lot of my passwords have just been something in leak speak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
like, and people are sitting like, how do you? I'm like, it's because I know what this word is. It's my
Mm-hmm.
brain. Rich used to spend time on certain bulletin boards. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are really, really young who don't know what a VBS is, it's a virtual bulletin board service. Back in the day when to be able to get on the phone or to get on the internet, you had to make sure nobody else was on the phone and dial. And it took about 10 minutes for the computer to do what's called a handshake. And
No,
if
it
anyone
was
picked up
murdering
the
a
phone,
robot. Be honest. We've all heard the sound. It was murdering the robot.
I've actually used that in a story. There was a character who was an android who was making a report to his employer, And basically, it was a super compressed data dump. And I just typed out what a dial up modem sounded like during the handshake. Mm-hmm.
And for those who are young enough who have not heard that sound, go back and watch one of my videos of Behind the Code, and you will hear it.
I know that, Joe, that takes me back to when I met Ted 23 years ago.
Sounds
over
like
the internet.
Being sodomized by a robot.
You gotta remember, we met over the internet 23 years ago on 56K dial-up when everybody was going to kill you.
Oh, 56K.
I know, we were fast. We were fast.
Luxury.
56K. We were.
I remember drooling over a 2400 baud because it was brand new on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Back in my day, we had 600 baud and we were proud.
Oh God, where's my cane when I need it?
I remember when my internet provider told me that my 56K modem was too fast for the local phone lines, and they had to drop me down to 33.6.
I'm just saying that. That's why I said we met at 56K. We were, but I just love the whole part of everybody was going to kill you over the internet.
Back in my youth and perusing those kind of sites because, well, pictures I should say, because I was very lonely.
And healthy.
And yes, and you know, you're halfway through and someone picks up the phone and you're like, no, I wasn't finished downloading that yet.
That's why I bought a second phone line for the house.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dedicated phone line, dedicated long distance line from Athens to Atlanta to my service provider, and the phone line for local and long distance service, so that somebody picks up the phone to make a phone call. Didn't affect me. I'm on the other line.
When I was 20, I lived at home. We had 2 lines.
And I had that for the entire time I was living. Well, the entire time I was restricted to dial up. When I moved out in the middle of the sticks,
Sorry.
I actually got DSL. Oh my God, I'm free.
So there's a cat on my lap, and she keeps using my leg as her. She's making biscuits with full toes out.
Needlepoint.
Mm.
Now here's one for you, Rich. Is going back to the password policies. So we have a character minimum limit of 8. I don't know if there's actually in the policy where you have to use a special character or a number, but you are actually able to do complete sentences as your password.
That is one thing that we do, teaching, because I'm one of the first people that they talk to in the firm, and I explain the password policy and stuff like that. And if you have a hard time trying to think of a longer password, we tell them to think of sentences or think of a sentence and then use the first word or first letter of every word.
Mm-hmm.
It's our password policy.
Well, ours will allow you to do the spaces. Like I could actually make a
grammatically correct sentence.
We try to tell people not to, because spaces don't always translate over when you're trying to give your help or give the password to the help desk. You forget about the spaces. We had a lot of people that actually have spaces in their passwords. Yeah, ours is 8 characters minimum, and then at least 3 of the 4 following qualities: uppercase character, lowercase character, number, symbol. You're allowed to have all 4. I do in mine, but I'm not a IT nerd. Kind of what I do. No, can't tell that's practice and rolls off the tongue like that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But we actually try to champion folks to try to use 16 characters if at all possible. Because 16 characters with that complexity, a brute force cracking software with today's latest and greatest technology should take about 1.34 billion with a B years to go through every single possibility to try to find your password. Now, granted, it'll probably find that password way long before 1.34 billion years, but that's how long it'll take to go through everything. Now, that being said, as hardware gets faster, that time's going to shrink down, and we're going to want to probably have more characters on top. I can see somewhere in the next 20 years, maybe a 16 character minimum password with a preference of being around 32 characters or something like that.
At some point, I'm just going to say, screw it, carry a credit card reader with me, and use an old deactivated credit card as my password.
I actually did one. It was a dead remote control for a TV set that got thrown away, and the remote control was lost. I found the remote control, but it had its own little name and number system on it. And I'm going, nobody's ever going to figure this one out. This thing's like 20 years old already. So that's what I did. I did write it down and put it in my password log file, which is on a different computer. So I occasionally update that thing and print it out so that I can take it with me to conventions. God help me if anybody ever steals my briefcase, because it'll have about half my electronics and all my passwords in there. But
Hallowcon, you say? Hallowcon? No.
Well, if you really want to inherit all my debts, go for it.
I was gonna put my nip in your. I was gonna steal some stuff out of your briefcase, and then I'm gonna throw some of my stuff back in and give it to you. You would never know.
So
no,
one
I
of the
would know.
things
I packed
do
the briefcase. I know everything that's in there.
I don't write down my passwords, Ghostbo. That would be really bad idea.
I'm good.
But what
thanks,
I do is I'll write down the combinations of things that I've used. So, there's lists like this sitting next to my computer, where people are
yeah.
This password is Star Wars, asterisk, Dumas. And it's like, no, my password is a character from Star Wars, a number and symbol combination that I do not change, that I have memorized, that I don't bother writing down anywhere, and a character from one of Dumas' works.
Yep.
So, in other words, you use a Jedi mind trick for the Star Wars.
He does a mnemonic to keep to cue his memory. Basically, yeah, I do the same thing.
My password this time has something to do with Star Wars and probably Three Musketeers or Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah. Somebody asked me once what my password is, and I said, okay, it starts off with the year that the TV series Blake 7 took place, and it ends with Star Trek reference. And they go, what's Blake 7?
Oh.
And the people that know what Blake 7 is going, what year did it take place? And nobody knows, because I had a friend of mine ask me that one day. Just seriously, he asked me what year this show was supposed to be in. And I pulled a number out of thin air. And we went with that. And he actually had it engraved on a Zippo lighter and gave it to me as a birthday present. So basically, if I ever forget that password, it's Ellen's lighter. The clue is Ellen's lighter, Star Trek. Now, those word combinations could mean a lot of things. Somebody might get the Star Trek reference. Nobody gonna get Alan's lighter.
I've never had to look on the inside of my ring to know, but I actually had Rich, Hart, Misty, and the year we got married. Actually, not just the year, our actual day, month, year we got married, engraved on the inside of my wedding ring, just in case, because I know my memory and I know sometimes I forget things. And the thing is, I've never forgotten our anniversary, December 29th, 2004, when we got married. I'll forget that it might be December 29th and sit there, you write the date for like the sixth time that date and go, oh shit, it's on my anniversary. So it's, I don't, when someone's memory, gels and gets stuck up here, I'll remember their birthday because it'll start tying in with, okay, so, this person's birthday is the same day as my mom's birthday, which also happens to be the same day as this person and this person and this person and this person, and the alleged birthday of Harry Houdini. And my brain will work weird mental gymnastics and stuff like that to interconnect everything. Gee, go figure. I'm ADD. But anyways, but yeah, it's I since I was like 7, I knew my mom's birthday was April 6th. On April 6th, I couldn't tell you it was April 6th. As soon as I figured out it was April 6th, I'm like, oh, I got to tell Mom happy birthday, And I mean, that happened way too many times up until Mom passed, and now I'll be writing the date and I'll be like, oh, crap, it's Mom's birthday, But anyways, I digress.
I can remember my mom's birthday, my sister's birthday, mine and all 3 of mine and Lindsay's anniversaries, the birthday of my oldest grandson, because that was also the wedding anniversary of my first wife and myself. I cannot remember my dad's birthday. I can get within 3 days. Got the month, but I can't remember my little brother's birthday at all. I know what season it's in, but that's about it.
So
there's certain
I'm
blocks.
I'm the person though that will be sitting there writing something on my birthday and go, "What's the date today?"
On your birthday,
I've done that.
Or on Christmas or Valentine's Day or whatever, and I'll be like, "What's the date?"
Our first comment of the night.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris. I gotta go down the hall. I'll be right back.
So the first year that my wife and I were married, we were coming up on our 1 year anniversary, and my mom looks at me and she goes, "So you know what's coming up this Sunday?" I'm like, Sunday. Oh, Easter. She goes, and a bunch of special church services? I don't know.
Easter basket?
She goes, your wedding anniversary? Oh shit, yeah, that is that day, isn't it? What makes it even better, she asked my wife the same thing. She goes, so you know what's coming up this Sunday? My wife goes, Easter.
Funny stew.
We had both forgotten that our own wedding anniversaries were coming up. And when we got married, Facebook asked, do you want to have a reminder 7 days before? We both said yes. Facebook failed to fucking notify us.
Ted and I are all very infamous for forgetting our anniversary. We'll remember it like 3 days before and be like, hey, don't forget our anniversary's coming up. And there was actually a couple years, and we've been together 16 years. We're not married. We go by our dating, obviously. And that one time it was it's November 20th, and it was like December 7th, and I'm like, by the way, did we wish each other a happy anniversary? This was about 4 or 5 years ago, and he looked at me and goes, "Oh shit, I'm sorry." I'm like, well, I forgot too. We're talking like 2, 3 weeks after the fact. I'm like, I am the worst woman in the world. I should be the one riding your ass, telling you that because you forgot, I should have just.
So
For
going,
years, Misty couldn't remember the day that we met. I actually know the date that we met.
I know the date that Ted and I met face to face.
so going back to the birthdays though, so there's a family member's birthday on September 25th and one on the 27th. One is my dad, one is my grandma on my mom's side. I can never remember whose is whose. I know one's the 25th, one's the 27th.
So in September, my father-in-law's birthday is the 10th. My daughter's birthday is the 19th. My eldest sister is the 20th. And then one of my nephews is the 29th. And I always remember my nephews because it's my father-in-law plus my daughter.
I do little stuff like that too to remember things like that.
Like my sister Sheila, her eldest too. All I have to remember is A17. One is August 17th. The other is April 17th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I can also remember my my oldest stepdaughter's birthday quite easily because it is the same as my mother's. And I have known my mother's birthday since I was about 5. So 60 years ago, I finally remembered what my mother got it driven into my head what my mother's birthday was and then several years later, just so happens that my oldest stepdaughter just happened to share a birthday with my mom. And I can remember Adamant's birthday, I can remember Godzilla's birthday, and I can remember Roseanne Barr's birthday because they're all mine.
I got Ed McMahon.
Hey.
And Shaquille O'Neal.
Jack Nicholson, J. Robert Oppenheimer, Nabokov, Glenn Campbell, which that explains why Rhinestone Cowboy is such an earworm for me.
Like
I'm a Rhinestone Cowboy.
Okay, that was the bedroom door. Okay.
But a couple of years ago, the United States government has now made my father's birthday a national holiday. Juneteenth. Which is also one of my grandnieces. I don't remember if she's my eldest grandniece or my second eldest grandniece. Which is the same day as my pops.
I'm just glad that my my anniversary with my first wife was not 9/11. I don't think I could take 2 major disasters happening in the same day.
Ted and I met face to face after talking on the internet for months on Halloween. Long story, but we decided Halloween.
Yeah, and Lindsay and I knew each other in the Unsolved Mysteries chat room for 10 years before we ever were both single at the same time. So nothing was ever going to happen there just because we're made that way. But when we were both single at the same time 10 years later, we go, hey, well, basically, she caught me flirting with another girl in the chat room, and she just kind of virtually raised her hand and said, "Hey, I've been waiting on you." So we started a long distance telephone relationship back before cell phones were a thing, and God, it took me months to pay that phone bill off. Oh, after we got I swear, I'd call her up when I got home from night shift. We'd talk for 30, 45 minutes, and then she'd sit and listen to me snore because I went to sleep while I was talking to her on the phone. She'd listen to me snore for hours on
Misty
long
and I would
distance.
would end up falling asleep on each other, and we just sit there and listen to the other one sleep. But Misty and I met December 5th, 2003. We were married, like I said, December 29th, 2004. 1 year and 24 days.
We're not married yet.
Instead of a ring, I actually proposed to Misty with replicas of Twinkle and Icing Death. So drinks to Warden's Scimitars.
This is the one and only piece of jewelry I've ever gotten from Ted.
Oh,
And I have the right eye, he has the left eye, and then on the back, he's Cancer. I'm Pisces. So he had these specially made for us. So that's like the one that we don't have, we're not married, but these are basically our,
Mhm.
how to say, wedding rings or whatever. These are our pieces of jewelry. And they're,
Those are your tokens to show that we belong together.
yes. Oh, so sweet. It
oh,
makes me want to throw up. No.
back when we first got into steampunk, I made Lindsay and I matching bracelets. Had a heart-shaped lock on, and it had a key. Now, my bracelet had her heart, my key. Her bracelet had my heart, her key. So, key to each other's hearts. Um,
Oh.
yes,
Oh, excuse me.
yes.
It is
I'm a very hopeless romantic, and
It is. It's cute. I just
Okay.
hate like being a smart ass.
hey, well, these things they happen.
So,
It helps pass the time in eternal lockdown, but
so this year,
oh
my
God, I was never
wife,
so happy when they let the restrictions go from the plague. Um,
I will have been with my wife 21 years come June of this year. Been married 8. 8 sounds right.
Give or take.
don't ask your wife; she won't remember either.
No, she won't. Yeah, we started dating the last day of my sophomore year.
How old are you?
I will be 37 in June.
I thought you were our age.
I am the young pup of the group. Yeah, and that's why I shave the beard occasionally, so I actually look closer to my age.
I'm not
With
allowed
our
to shave.
What's that, Rich?
I'm not allowed to shave because I will look very young.
Ted's not allowed to shave just because I like his goatee.
When
He shaved it
Misty and I
once.
first got married, when we first started dating, she'd never seen me without my Van Dyke. And I think we were married before she saw me clean shaven. And she's just like, no, this isn't happening. No. Because I looked younger than she did. I'm older than her, but I looked younger than she did. My best friend could probably still pass for a high schooler today, and he'll be 50 in August. I'll be 50 in April, but So yeah, it's she was not happy when my mom passed. I went clean shaven because my mom didn't like a Van Dyke on me, although in later years she'd loved the Van Dyke on my dad. Full beard she was fine with, mustache she was fine with, goatee she just thought was like dirty. Not dirty as in, oh, you filthy animal. Wrong. But dirty as in like hobo, beatnik.
Hmm.
My parents were born in the 40s.
Here come the Jets.
Yeah.
Ah.
When you're a jet, oh, that's right.
Hey,
So-
you can quote Alice Cooper all you want.
But yeah, clean shaven sheep. And occasionally she'll get mad because I won't realize the sneeze is coming while I'm trying to trim things. And all of a sudden, half my mustache is now in the sink.
Mm. Oops.
And I was wrong earlier. It'll be 9 years in April that we've been married.
Time flies
Pulled
when
up-
you're having fun.
Pulled up the spreadsheet calculator, huh?
No, my Facebook profile. Ah,
Believe
See,
me,
Facebook's helpful.
I have a spreadsheet with different date calculators on it. All three of our anniversaries are on there. As many of the family birthdays as I can remember are on there. Different holidays are on there. Different conventions are on there. So I get elapsed time counters between now and the next one. And I pull that thing up every once in a while and I go, that's a big page. How am I ever going to remember this stuff? That's why I have this page.
Next Friday will be 9 years since my mom passed.
I'm sorry.
She died the same day as Harold Ramis.
As what?
She died the same day as Harold Ramis. Stripes,
Okay.
Ghostbusters.
mhm.
Yeah.
And actually, funny enough, she also passed away 2 weeks to the day from the person she was named for. So she was named for Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple actually passed away 2 weeks before my mom did. And then Mickey Rooney passed away on my mom's birthday that year. I told you I have got a weird thing with dates.
I'm old school. I use calendars yet.
Mm.
I am the cusp of Gen X to Gen Y, but I relate more to Gen X. But I still am so I think it's because I grew up in such a small town where there was nothing. I was not cool because I was not in the FFA. It was oh, my kid, we had Apple computers that we had to have, you could only use for 10 minutes at a time and blah blah. Anyways, what day are we on?
I'll be
Today's
right
the
back,
16th.
folks.
Huh?
You're saying what day are we on?
Yeah. Here.
Today would be
16.
February 16th, 2023.
Yeah. So I have,
Well,
because my birthday's
8
in a
minutes
couple
ago
weeks.
it was, yes.
In my time zone, it is still the 16th.
Oh yeah, it just hit the 17th for Dan.
Oh, yeah. Time zones are weird.
My birthday, I was just seeing, when is my birthday? March 6th. That's coming up.
Mm.
And my brain will probably log that away because it's 3/6.
Believe me, there's.
1 month before my mother's.
See, I'm always one of those people, I can never remember my parents' anniversary, but I know it's 1 of 2 days. So I just, wait till my mom does enough whining. I'll call randomly.
I was able to figure out my mom and dad's anniversary before I could remember their birthdays.
Mm. there seems to be something going on in our family. The either anniversaries or whatnot usually happen 10 days after a major historical event. So my parents' wedding anniversary was December 17th. Lindsay and I got married July 14th.
Bastille Day.
Yes, but 10 days after 4th of July. Mom and Dad's anniversary, 10 days after Pearl Harbor Day. Not saying they had a very explosive relationship, but you know, you put an artist and a farmer together, and fireworks did go off occasionally. And 9 months later, I had a sibling. So I've got to figure, given my birthday, Valentine's Day of that year must have been a very special day for my mom and dad.
Wait a minute, my parents are nine months apart. My dad's 9 months older or 9 months younger than my mom. My mom was robbing the cradle there. So I'm sitting there and I'm probably like 14, 15 at the time. I was like doing the math. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, you were being born when Dad was being conceived. Oh God. My poor family. We're not normal.
One of my favorite jokes is work when they don't know all my children or stepchildren is I'll tell them, yeah, I'm 65 years old and my oldest daughter is 53. You do the math. And then I'll go back to eating my sausage and egg biscuit and reading my fire tablet.
Two funny stories dealing with that. Not necessarily that, but I mean that in my life. So Misty brought my eldest two children into our marriage. The youngest is ours together. And now I can actually say I have one of each. You know, a boy, a girl, and neither. None of the above. But anyways,
Whatever they want.
yeah. So my son would do stuff all the time, and it's just like if you didn't know any better, you'd think his behavior was 100% learned from me instead of just getting it from 12. But he would just do something, and I would just look at Misty and I'm like, "Are you sure he's not mine?" Were we drunk at like a party in high school together? Going across to a couple different counties and stuff like that. Because I did go out and play in right around Portage and stuff like that when I was in my late teens. And I wasn't drinking because I wasn't cool enough to be invited to any of those kinds of parties. But it's just
you find 20-somethings to party with when you're in high school.
he was doing weird stuff, and I'm just like, that was me at that age. Are you sure he's not mine? Or he just crack off just a smart ass comment that they're looking at me like, what did you teach this boy? I'm like, I did not teach him that. He needs to stay out of my mind, especially if he's going to be in there. He needs to stay out of the green filing cabinet because that's where I store the mental naked pictures of Misty. Boy, he'll be scarred for life. But anyways, so another thing that was kind of
That
funny.
reminds me, that's another thing I got to put on the medical alert bracelet. Somebody's got to delete my file of Betty Page pictures.
So we play World of Warcraft in this.
Excuse me, very beautiful lady. She was
very, very beautiful.
That's why I'm shaking my head. Why would you delete them? Everybody's seen them. Well, maybe not those.
Not all of them. No, I was a bit of a collector.
Unless you were tapping into something you shouldn't have been tapping into. Somebody else has seen them.
I don't believe I would have phrased it exactly that way, but I'll take the thought as a privilege. But I
Go
wish.
ahead, Rich, because apparently I can't say anything without it turning dirty.
That's why we love you so much. Don't give me straight lines. It'll warp my brain trying to think in corkscrews around trying to say something.
See, even when I try to behave. God, so that's why I just tried, Anyways, you were saying, Rich.
So we play World of Warcraft. So we're both part of this guild. We're in a group together with the actual guild leader of the guild we were in. The guild leader knew my son was a kid. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but I started cursing up a blue streak. And my son pops off with, "You kiss your mother with that mouth?" And without missing a beat, I'm like, "No, I kiss yours." I almost got booted out of the guild. It took a half hour of my son, my wife, and I all explaining to the guild leader in different chats, "No, he is my son. I am married to his mother. I literally do kiss his mother." I'm not trying to.
As frequently as possible. Yes.
And actually, that reminds me of one more. So I actually got to officiate my son's wedding. Not all of my daughter-in-law's family realized I was Zach's dad. So during the ceremony, I'm like, I make some comment about, Zach and Courtney, I don't know of any two people who deserve to be together more than you two. And then I turn and I look at Zach, I'm like, except for maybe your mom and I. And then I just stop for a second. And I'm like, for those of you who aren't aware, he is my son. I did not just make a your mom joke to the groom.
However, may I point out that does get a whole new twist on "Bless You, my son."
Yes. So we were playing cards one night, and it's one of those card games where you can take from the pile Shanghai Rummy. And I took a card that my mother wanted. And she looks at me and she goes, "You son of a bitch." And without missing a beat, I said, "The first step's admitting it."
My mother wore that as a badge of honor. She always thought if someone is calling her that, she's standing up for a right that they don't want her to stand up for. My mom would come out and, because you do something, certain people pull a face and stuff like that, and my mom would be like, "Yeah, I'm a mean old bitch." No bones about it, nothing like that. So a lot of people were a little stunned when I was speaking at my mom's service when my mom passed. I'm like, "We don't have a guardian angel up in heaven. We have a guardian bitch."
And it was a compliment, and they didn't understand that.
Well, a lot of people are just like, "Oh." And then I'm like, "No, you don't understand. My mother actually wore being called a bitch as a badge of honor because she was standing up for herself for something they didn't want her to." So, but yeah, just the look of shock on everybody's face. I'm like, okay, you have probably never had a very long, drawn-out conversation with my mother because at some point in time, my mother being very conservative would have stepped on somebody's toes, and as soon as they pulled a face like, "Oh my God, you actually went there? You said that?" My mother would have come back with, "Yeah, I'm a mean old bitch." She used to say that to my nieces and grandnieces and my nieces, nephews, and grandnieces, because I didn't have any grandnephews at the time. But yeah, she'd be watching them, and she'd take something away from them, or she'd swat their ass, and they would just look at her with such anger and hurt that a toddler could throw out, and my mom would be like, "Yeah, I'm a mean old bitch," and she, no bones about it. You know, it's the way she lived her life. You know, she didn't care if someone didn't like what she said or what she did. She's like, you know, I can't make everybody happy. I need to make sure that I'm happy and my family is happy. Beyond that, F them.
Yeah, really.
I behaved. I didn't use the word.
My mother has always told me when she passes on, as people are showing up to the funeral, she wants the normal music played, you know, Amazing Grace, all that fun stuff. She goes, and then as everybody sits down and, you know, the pastor or whoever's going to go up to speak first,
Mm-hmm.
I want Another One Bites the Dust to play. And Only the Good Die Young, because she figures that'll say something about her either way.
I love your mom.
Oh,
And
I'm
gonna up the ante one more, and when they go to put her in the ground, I'm gonna be standing there with my cell phone, just hit play on a certain song, you know, the do 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 do.
I thought for sure you were going to go for something from the soundtrack
AC/DC?
from Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I was thinking AC/DC.
I went
Bells,
out.
bells.
You know what?
Oh,
Well,
that's one reason why I was so sorry that my first wife chose to be cremated, because I couldn't have her buried face down so she could see where she was going.
You
No,
have to
but
get
she
their
got
balls,
cremated.
by the way, and not big balls.
but she got cremated, so she got a preview as to where she was going.
That was cool compared to where she was going.
She got the starter kit.
Oh my god, I'm so to use that.
Hey,
Cremation itself, starter kit.
I threatened to have my second wife taken to a taxidermist, so she would be standing there quietly to greet me when I came home from work. It's about the only time I'd ever get a word in edgewise, because that woman could talk.
Until I saw
I
the
mean,
price, I wanted to do the reef ball thing for when I pass.
The what?
So you can have yourself cremated and mixed into the concrete to create these seeds for natural reefs to
Oh, yeah.
basically recreate the reefs, the reef project.
I think I'm gonna hop off because in the last about 10 seconds, my lights have kind of flickered here 3 or 4 times. So
And y'all got some severe weather up that way.
it's not really severe. It's just
Slick.
Windy.
yeah.
Squirrely.
Yeah. Oh,
Just-
we're right in the heart of. It's only snow. Yeah, it's fine.
Is it full on snow now and no longer wintry mix?
Yeah.
Maybe it's cold outside. Even down here.
I know. You're very cold-blooded. Blah 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 blah. Anyways,
No, not tonight. It's I've got my office at 88 degrees. I'm fairly comfortable.
Oh God, I'd be dying of heat stroke.
I know. Me too,
It's,
Joe.
It's 66 degrees outside in the yard. I'd have to put on a coat.
Oh my god, I'd die for 66. I'd be sitting out there with a book reading.
88 degrees. I'd be sweating like Michael Jackson in a Cub Scout convention.
Nope.
When this room gets 88 degrees, you're gonna see some serious.
You're gonna see me shedding some clothes. Don't nobody want to see that. I don't want to see myself shedding clothes.
Well, you've got to understand, Georgia summers, I spent all the time on a tractor out in direct sunlight, 105 degrees some days, in the factory. Summertime temperatures get about the same inside the building because it's a big metal barn.
Hmm.
And I I had learned to do without air conditioning because if I got used to a normal human temperature range at home, when I got outside or I got at work, I would have a stroke. And it's just easier for me to just have a little space heater back here and close the door and get comfortable. I mean, I'm still wearing slippers, blue jeans, and a long sleeve shirt in this temperature. It gets under 70 degrees. My teeth would start chattering back when I still had teeth. Um, I'd
See,
shatter my dentures, but I don't wear them that often.
Ted is very cold blooded, and I'm very hot blooded. So yeah, we don't get along sometimes.
I always used to tell Misty, she can always put more clothes on. I take anything else off, CPS shows up.
Well, it's kind of yeah,
Well, I
but
I
that's like in
spent
this.
I spent many a summer riding around in a tractor, plowing fields, bush hogging, baling hay, doing all this stuff. And I'm wearing the skimpiest pair of cut off blue jeans I could possibly wear because it was hot. And
All I'm imagining is Tom Selleck shorts.
no, these were more like Daisy Dukes for
I was,
men.
I was going to say, I was imagining Dan in a pair of Daisy Dukes, and
That pretty much covered it. Of course, I had a better figure back then. I mean, seriously.
I'm sure you still have the legs for it, Dan.
Yeah, I used to ride bicycle everywhere, so I've got fairly muscular legs. But I've also had the benefit of 45 years worth of daily beer intake, so I kind of look like a pear now.
Yeah.
Ted, he will sit in the he will it could be three triple digits out, and he'll be out in the garage doing his Lego thing. And I'm like, hell no. I am not sitting out there doing that. The hotter for him, the better. He's happier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind working in the heat, but if I'm sitting, I should not sit and sweat, is my thing.
Yeah, if I can move, I can deal
Blanket
with
on the chair. It's not there to hide that it's crappy upholstery because it's a brand new chair.
Yeah, if I can move when it's hot, I'm fine. But if I have to sit stock still, oh hell no, I can't.
Oh dear. What have we done?
I don't know. It worries me, though.
You got some explaining to do, Lucy.
What?
Okay.
We awakened something that suddenly clicked. Suddenly clicked all of a sudden.
Okay, so he needs an editor. Okay.
Okay.
Well, somebody said on Stupid O'Clock that Kiri should have something other than Resident Shit Poster under as their headline.
Mm-hmm.
They should have a new title. I don't remember who that was. I'm wondering if that's what they're referring to.
I think that was John that said that, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yep. So the new title is going to be Rich's Understudy. Or
I like we're waiting, like we're just bated breath here going.
Hey, I'm thinking smartass in training. Because basically we've all had a hand in that one, believe me. Um,
When I came back in, I tried to put Captain Smart Aleck as part of my title below, but apparently it ran too many characters over because, yeah, I'm not a general. I'm not that high ranking yet. I'm only a captain.
if anybody ever asks me what my pronouns are, Captain is going to be one of them.
So um, Misty gets very prudish around nudity in TV and movies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
We were watching The Suicide Squad. Um, oh, the Valkyrie. Um, okay. Um,
Someone has a Padawan. Ah,
Sang-Kiri, because Sang is in sanguine, is in blood, and then for Blood Rose, and then Kiri for Kiri is Sang-Kiri instead of Valkyrie. Anyways, if anyone gets the joke. But anyways,
hey,
I had to take a little bit to catch up there, but I got it. I got it.
I like language construction like that.
Mhm.
oh hell, where was I going? The hell if I don't change my ways.
I'm still going to go there, even if you change
Hey,
your ways.
Misty
I've
and
still got
her
time to
prudish
open
ways.
that handbasket cart.
So Misty, when it comes to TV and movies, gets really, really, you know. One of my favorite things to do is in The Man in the Iron Mask when George Depardieu has brought the barn down and he's walking away. I'll pause it so that his naked ass is in the middle of the screen, and I'll be like, "Misty, it's your favorite part." And then she'll look up and she's like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "Because it's funny." But in the Suicide Squad, Mr. John Cena is in his very tidy whities, and he's packing a baseball bat in there. So I'm surprised that his wife is not pressing battery charges every time relations ensue. But anyways, so I started calling him Captain Tidy Whities.
I've actually seen him in a banana hammock. Anyways,
Wrestling, yeah.
no,
actually,
in a true banana hammock.
He also did some underwear modeling for something, I think.
It was a behind the scenes thing that and he would just answer the door when his dad came and he was wearing a banana hammock.
But
anyways,
probably that keeps her from having to go to the expense of charging batteries.
But we were talking about how she was staring at Captain Tidy Whities, and I'm like, yeah, and all I've got to offer is being major skid marks.
That's not where I thought I was going to go with that. After
no,
and then my father would be General Sharts.
oh dear.
Being as we were talking about the baseball that he was packing in there, baseball bat.
Swing and a miss.
That's what happens when you have a little smoky.
Ball one. Just a bit outside.
Kind of hard to hit that home run when you're only holding a number 2 pencil.
Yep.
And all you've got is a little bit of a nub and the eraser.
Yep.
And you just broke your tip.
And he's headed to home.
Now I'm hearing Meatloaf singing some song in the background, but
oh, it's such paradise.
to 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
So I was actually
I will do anything for love.
I was having a procedure done for collapsing some veins in my legs that had become too large, so they were allowing blood to reflux down into my legs, which would cause a ton of issues. The day that Meatloaf died, so I was trying to explain, because a couple of the nurses, my generation, they knew, and then a couple of the younger ones were like, "What?" So yeah, we were trying to like, okay, so we're talking through songs and stuff like that, and it was one of the procedures I had to stay conscious for. So yeah, I was singing Meatloaf songs badly, laying on the table there while they're trying, and I have no idea how the doctor did not manage to jab me, because it was involved shoving a needle up into the vein, heating the tip up, causing the vein to collapse. So I'm very happy that, because I could tell he was laughing. But yes, it was a very interesting conversation. It's like, okay, how about this song? How about this song? How about this song?
I remember my mom picking me up from a junior high dance or something, and we're all walking outside. Everybody's trying to figure out where their parents' vehicles are at, and off in the distance I hear "Bat Out of Hell" just blaring from a vehicle. I went, "Oh, my mom's over there. I'll see you guys later." They're like, "How do you know?" I can tell from the song. She'd be the only one here playing that.
Smash it against the body of a high school cheerleader. You guys remember that at all from Bad Out of the Hell 2?
I didn't listen to Bad Out of Hell 2 very much. I liked the original album.
Oh, I forgot the name of it. It was kind of it was a talking thing. And it was, oh my God, one of my sister's best friend, her boyfriend at the time, blah, 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 blah. We were driving around town saying that as loud as we could out of her boyfriend at the time car. We were trying to blast the speakers in his car. Long story. We're not nice girls.
I had a couple of friends that weren't romantically involved, but they were very good friends, male and female. And they once almost got thrown out of an IHOP for singing the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack. When it got to touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me,
So
the waitress had just about had enough. And, you know, Meatloaf being the only one basically on Earth able to sing that lyric from that soundtrack without skipping lines is really impressive. Because that's quite a few syllables to be able to cram into that rhyme scheme right there.
So you're all familiar with the IHOP story, right?
Apparently a different one than what Dan just told us.
Yeah, really, several, but do continue.
There will be some profanity in this. I apologize. So Misty and I went to IHOP for a post-Valentine's, because the way our schedules worked, we couldn't do anything on Valentine's Day, so we did it. We went for a breakfast date the Saturday after, and we were at the IHOP, and Crow was with us, and I'm in the bathroom, and tummy was a little rumbly, so I had to drop some kids off at the pool. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, something sounds wrong with the music. Something's just not right. So the music sounded like it was out of sync with itself.
I sort of read this on Facebook, but I'm going to enjoy it more coming from the
yes.
So
I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden there's a pause between the tracks, and the guy in the stall next to me is watching porn. And all of a sudden I hear, fuck my ass. And you hear the slap too. And I'm just like, oh God, he's not. So I'm sitting there. I finish up. As I'm walking out of the bathroom, I'm like, you might want to invest in some earphones, buddy. Because I didn't want to say that and possibly have the person come out of the stall. And
Literally with you caught with your pants down.
I'm not ready for that conversation. No, I wouldn't have said it until I was zipped in everything because... And actually, I was on a can at the time, too. So I'm like, I've got something to defend myself if I need, but I am not getting away quickly. So, Misty's kind of looking at me strange when I get up to the table. So I say loudly enough for everyone in the section to hear, because our section was right outside the bathroom. So everyone who was still there when he came out would see. And I'm like, is that really the place to wax the dolphin?
The dolphin is an aquatic mammal within the infrared cetacean.
Alexa, shut up. Alexa, shut up.
This is why I don't have any of those.
That just made it even better, though.
But yeah, I mean, I've heard it happen in trials, and then I can understand. It gets lonely. Sometimes I might need to rub one out. But an IHOP?
And Rich has just introduced us to the reason that Joe Dog wears earphones, because John, when Joe Dog was still using speakers and an external microphone, was quite fond of going, Alexa, play death metal. Alexa, let the bodies hit the floor. Things like that.
I will baby shark women in the house. When I want Pro to come out of their room because, we can't get their attention, I will have Sweet Child of Mine start playing on their device in their room. But Joe, the IHOP in question is the one there in Michigan City.
Oh my God!
I kind of figured it was. I didn't figure it was one out in Maryville. Although I expected out of that one too.
Well, that's closer to Crown Point and Gary. I could really see that happening out there.
Yeah. One of these weekends, we need to get you and your wife out to Tap House with the wife and I.
Oh,
You okay, Dawn?
no.
Breathe.
In and out, just like something else.
Wasn't gonna go there, but
Oh my God.
No, I'm everybody's.
Oh.
I used to have a religious difference of opinion with my high school vice principal. He thought he was God, and I know I am.
Okay. I'm gonna take a drink now. You guys behave.
fat chance.
But there I was, 30,000 feet, a hooker, German Shepherd, and flaming Cherry's Jubilee. That is something my buddy
Let the
Wayne,
lady drink her water.
That's something my buddy Wayne shouted out while we were at a around the clock in Cherville. It's just we were having weird conversations, and the waitress would always walk by just at the wrong moment, and you would see them just kind of stumble, stop, and just start again. Like, the hell did I just hear?
Nope, I don't want to know what I just heard.
So, from that point on, no matter what even if we got back into a mundane conversation, as they were walking by, we would try to find something else weird to throw out. And finally, my buddy Wayne shot that out, and she almost dropped the coffee pot.
So the one my buddy Tony likes to throw out if there's a group of us all talking and it just suddenly goes to that awkward silence. And I'll wait for Dan to put his beer down.
It's all right. I've learned several novel reflexes working with this group.
Not the green room. But no, we're
That's what
sitting there
she
one
said.
day. We're sitting there one day, and it just kind of gets that awkward silence, and all of a sudden you just hear him go, "Well, so there I was, triply inverted over the coast of Madagascar, balls deep in a squealing pig."
My buddy Jeff's favorite is the line from, I think it's Muppets Take Manhattan. So I said, "Look, Mom, it's my life, and if I want to live on a beach and walk around naked, oh, sorry."
Oh, I have a green room story for tomorrow night. Hopefully we make it. I don't know what the plan and timing is for everything, so.
And Chris,
Sure.
I do agree with your comment also.
Billy Squire, yeah.
Come on, Jarrett. I don't have.
Oh, now this is one of the reasons why I love Chris so much, because he and I can speak the same musical language, even though,
Squires. I'm going with the stroke.
yeah, that's the one, dear.
Okay.
But these things, it's kind of almost universal the way one of us can drop a phrase from a song or just mention an artist at the appropriate moment for the mind to make an infinite number of really weird connections and let you know just how strange education can be between the 1950s and now as far as music goes. Oh, okay, that prompts a totally different thought out of left field. Lindsay did not know that Alice Cooper could write such beautiful love songs until I started playing stuff from Alice because I'm a big fan, and she wound up going, "This guy's more than snakes and golf, ain't he?"
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh. Okay. True story. I bought a copy of Welcome to My Nightmare and a copy of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon same day in a little town where my grandparents live. And I was pretty much at my grandmother and grandfather's, and he and I were alone in the house. And they just happened to have a record player. And he told me, "Hey, you just bought some new records. Go ahead and play them." So I played him Dark Side of the Moon, and he said, "That sounds like the background music to your granny's soap operas." And I played him Welcome to My Nightmare, and he told me that he had been watching golf and seen Alice Cooper playing golf. He goes, he ain't exactly like what people think he is. He's a good Christian boy. His daddy was a preacher. They people around him on the golf course keep expecting snakes to jump out of his golf bag, and he's not going to do that. He's just a regular boy and very respectful and kind of like this music. Of course, Welcome to My Nightmare's got some weird shit going on in there, but
But he did that all for shock too, for a lot of it.
oh yeah,
too.
that was the act. That was the act. He's his own person outside of the act, and the only time that it became a problem was when he was unable to control his drinking, and the persona, took over his
He
personality.
couldn't turn it off. Yeah.
Yep. And when he
Let's be
finally
honest.
went and got some help and turned his life back around again, he still had the capacity to write the shock value stuff, but he always had the ability to string some really nice love songs together. I mean, How
Uh,
You Gonna See Me Now? Um, of course, my favorite is Damned If You Do, Damned If You Don't. Um, Story of My Life at one point.
well, we have
Um,
a friend of ours. He used to manage a golf course here in town, and when Alice would come play, because he would play at the Civic, he's played at the Civic Center here in Peoria a few times, or quite a few times. But he would go and play around a golf with him. He's like, he is just the most laid back guy you'd ever meet.
oh yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
got to play golf with Alice Cooper? He's like, yeah, quite a few times. I'm like, shut up.
and he's really the nicest guy. I've seen dozens of interview shows with him, and sure, he's not shy about when times were not optimal, and he's not going to try and blame it on somebody else. But he owns all his own mistakes.
Bobcat Goldthwait's another individual that has that same kind of thing going, where he's just got that, persona, um, but he's actually a great producer, director, and writer for comedies and stuff like that. And he's actually a very brilliant man behind that coked out persona. And I believe one of the stories that talks about when he destroyed that hotel room, he wasn't actually high on anything. It was to be on brand.
Oh yeah,
And I guess there's a few um, uh, major acts out there and stuff like that that do stuff like that, where some of them really are out of control like that, but you don't get, oh hey, it's the guy that torched that hotel room in New York 2 weeks ago. Let's go see his act. What wild zany stuff is going to happen there, kind of a thing.
hmm
So
yep. Dawn, you had your hand up.
Yes, we saw him at the comedy club here in town, which is not a really big, huge comedy club, jukebox comedy club. And afterwards, we went and you got his autograph and everything. But it was funny because he, the show before, somebody had screwed up the jack to the microphone. It was the erotic hypnotic, and he screwed something up on the microphone, and he was using his real voice through the entire show, because this was just within probably the last 5 to 10 years. And when he all of a sudden the mic stopped working because of that jack, and then he started yelling, and he goes, at least I was one of those guys in the 80s that screams and still can. I mean, he was, it was fun to see him. And I admit I had my DVD of the first four Police Academy movies on one thing, and he signed that. He goes, God, he goes, this is funny. I go, you know what? It was a lot of that shit made it through my childhood tolerable.
I
Bob is
I
one of
thought
my
he had
favorite.
an excellent part in Blast from the Past, although he didn't really do much more than nod. And basically he didn't have what 15 words in the entire scene, but he was on the bus with oh
Brendan
crap,
Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Thank you.
Okay, okay. I was like, is that the same blast from the past? Okay.
Yep. And basically he was just kind of reacting to Brendan, and almost in a mime. He did get to say a couple of syllables, but not much. And I'm going, this guy can actually put across an entire conversation with just expressions and a
Mhm.
little bit of body language. Very, very good. Very good.
And then he did Hot to Trot. No. You guys never seen that one?
Can't say that I
Yes,
have.
and I can't think of it off the top of my head.
About the horse that's voiced by John Candy?
Nope.
It's got Dabney Coleman in it. Very disappointed in you all.
I've seen
Why?
it.
I have seen more movies than Michaela.
Yeah,
I have
What
too, and
was
some of them I can actually talk about. Uh,
damn. I'm kind of a movie buff, especially the 80s and 90s. I'm a movie buff, but
yeah,
no,
I've watched more than I can recall sometimes. It's like, oh crap, I forgot about that movie.
yeah. Once I discovered that I had a fear of crowds, I was no longer able to go to movie theaters, and I was never one for just sitting and watching stuff on cable, just because that was on. I have the radio playing, listening to not top 40, but kind of alternative stuff. Stations that would not. One of my favorite radio stations is one that plays. Um, they might play um, a country song, a Kiss song, something from Rocky Horror, and then followed by Alice Cooper, followed by an orchestral piece, followed by, I mean, they're just all over the place, and it's all excellent music, but it's not stuff you would normally hear on a radio, and there were no commercials at all except during specific times during the daytime. At night, you did not hear news, weather, or commercials. It was all just, you know, Allman Brothers followed by Run DMC, you know, and it just kept getting weirder and weirder. And I love that station. But it was a very low powered station, so I was lucky enough to be able to hear it in the factory. But when I got out in the car and started driving home from work, it faded out within 5 minutes of me leaving the factory and heading north. I mean, it was that low power. I was right on the edge of their broadcast range in the factory. I've got one like that on a little radio in my lab, and I turn it on. I've got the volume so low it's almost ambient. If a forklift drives by my lab, you can't hear the radio. It's that quiet. And I'm wearing earplugs the entire time too, because who wants to take earplugs out and then every time you get up out of the chair and have to leave the room, you got to put the earplugs back in. It's just the only time at work when I take the earplugs out is when I'm going on break.
there was one other
Yeah.
person we saw at the comedy club.
Oh, I should know that face.
He's not a normal comedian.
For a given value, how do you get normal and comedian in the same sentence
I
together?
was kind of thinking the same thing.
Well, he's not known for being a comedian.
Is that Nick Foley?
Yes, it is. We've seen him there twice. He is
Well, he
funny
is
as hell.
he is known for being a comedian. His comedy is a lot more physical.
Well, no, he does actually a stand-up show. And it's like stories
I
from
can see it.
outside the ring.
Yeah,
All
I can see
right.
it.
If
And he
Skunk
only
doesn't
says the F-bomb once.
if
He made me
Skunk
count.
doesn't know about that, you should tell him. that would be something he would enjoy. We're down to like 15 seconds. I'm gonna
How did it get it there? Oh wow. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna hit the bedtime story, and I'm not gonna close out the room if y'all want to stick around. We've still got a little while. I could decompress before I need to go to bed. So let me go here, there, and there it is. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you for our audience who has been so patient this entire time waiting for entertainment that never happened. But I'm sure, yes,
Until I started laughing.
we have been entertaining in our own special way. The short bus is parked right outside, and good night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night, Saturday night.
And every night that you are going to pass.
Wait till
Sorry, long time
wait,
show.
wait till I retire.
Anytime EOC is on.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.